Straight edge is a commitment to yourself to refrain from the consumption of alcohol.
Drugs, no alcohol, no smoking, anything.
Promiscuous sex. A lot of people are also vegetarians or vegans. And there's some people that are so crazy that they won't consume caffeine or even over-the-counter meds. But
a lot of people see it as rules. It's not so much rules as just your lifestyle.
If you're looking for a definition, it would be no drinking, no drugs, no promiscuous activities.
During the early 80s, with drugs being so cheap and Reaganomics taking its toll on society, kids found an outlet at clubs like CBGB's and the Whiskey A Go-Go. Seeing what would be known as hardcore bands getting high and letting loose became what was normal. But a subculture was growing, tired of numbing themselves down and realizing that they didn't need substances to have fun. Bands like Minor Threat, SSD Control, and the Teen Idols paved and showed the way of this youth. The X's once written on the hands of kids getting into clubs to show that they were minors became a badge showing who they were and what they stood for. Almost 30 years later, this subculture is larger than ever, still strong in the music scene with bands like Champion, With Honor, Have Heart, and Throwdown. Though some ideals have been added, the foundation still holds true. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs.
Well, I think that society holds a double standard against people who choose the straight edge lifestyle because they're looked at as weirdos when there's laws against underage drinking, against the use of narcotics and things like that, which straight edge people choose to refrain from. A person who's 7 years sober who used to be an alcoholic or a recovering drug addict gains so much, respect and admiration from the public, whereas a person who decides, hey, I'm not even going to go through with ever even taking the chance of becoming addicted to alcohol or a drug, they're looked down upon, which I just don't understand.
religion does play a role in. For me, I'm a Christian. I believe in God and Jesus and all of that stuff. But there are plenty of people out there that it doesn't have anything to do with them.
When I was a kid, my dad was a pretty heavy drinker, and I told myself I wasn't not going to end up like him, so I decided to just stop drinking, stop smoking, and
I've always been drug-free and alcohol-free. I never really had any interest in any of it since I was a kid, so when I found out there were a bunch of other people who felt the same way and liked the same crappy music as me, I was interested. I have plenty of friends who drink and smoke weed and party, and I'm all for it. I don't judge anyone for any decisions.
If they drink or they smoke or whatever, but they're respectful towards you, then I'm fine with it. But there's plenty of people out there that are like, oh, you don't drink, what do you do on the weekends? Then they're just dumb.
While the idea of being straight edge in its purest form can be a positive and uplifting influence to the world at large, every culture has its extremists. In many cases, straight edge people have taken on an adversarial role towards the rest of the world. Pushing beliefs and violent behavior have given way to popular belief that this world is separated by two groups, straight edge and non-straight edge.
People who call themselves straight edge are taking part in things that kind of deserve that title, and so be it.
As far as it being considered a gang, I think it's kind of stupid.
I think it's easy to consider it a gang because it's a title. So I just think it's an easy label to put on it. I think it's just easier to classify them as a group.
Like there's like the FSU kids in Boston. They go around and like beat up people that are drunk and stuff like that. There are straight edge kids out there committing crimes, just like assaulting people. They've murdered people. In Salt Lake, they blew up a McDonald's because the straight edge kid was also vegan.
But I can see, I guess, from the police side where they could.
But then again, they do have good reasons behind it. Like I know in like Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, it is considered a gang, and of course Boston too.
But in all reality, it's just kids getting into fights over stupid kid stuff.
Many people may not understand what straight edge is, and you can't, unless you have lived it or are still living it. And for those people, straight edge boils down to something very simple.
kind of like a lifestyle.
It's a great commitment to make.
To yourself.
It is a lifestyle choice.
I'm straight edge for me, and it makes me happy. It doesn't necessarily, it wouldn't make everybody happy, and I'm fine with that. And as far as if a person is torn between being straight edge and not being straight edge, I would just say, why don't you do your own thing and do what you feel comfortable doing?